Hello everybody. Right, it is the 30th of April, so it's been a little bit longer since I last spoke to you. First of all, apologies if it's not, I don't know if it looks too bad, if I'm a bit red. So as you can see, I had my hair highlighted yesterday for the first time in a year. Thank my one of my besties, Kerry, for doing it, because it was looking pretty dire and my grey was coming through, so I felt so much better for having that done. But I was really stupid when I washed it off, and I just went and stood in the shower and let all the peroxide come over my face, and I get eczema, so of course it's like made my face kick off. So it's gone down a little bit, but I was all red and a bit sore yesterday. Stupid. Well, last night. Anyway, beside that, so last time I came on, I said that I was waiting for those final results from my surgery. I'm still waiting. It's taken quite a while, it has to be said, but it's because it's a special type of test, immunohisto something or other. So it takes a long time. But in the meantime, I have been this week doing lots of exercise. Like literally, I've done 9 classes and then I went out for a run this morning. When I say run, it was only like 4K. It's not like I'm doing anything, any major marathons or anything. But it just feels really good. I've lost 7 pounds this week. I've been eating healthier. I've been exercising. I'm not planning on making that a consistent thing. I always lose quite a lot initially because I hold a lot of water and everything, so that's all obviously gone. But, and I've said it through the other videos, my thing is I just want to do as much as I possibly can to stop this cancer coming back. And because mine is so highly estrogen fueled, and fat cells create estrogen, I need to get myself down to a healthy weight and maintain it. That is the key, is just maintaining it. So I've got about 2 stone to lose, which I'm hopefully going to achieve by the summer. And then it's just keeping on top of it. And if ever there was a reason or an excuse to do it and keep on top of it, then this is it. And I will still treat myself, of course I will, and everything in moderation, but I will just keep on top of it and not do that whole 6 months taking the weight off and then 6 months putting it all back on again. I will try and keep an even keel throughout, and if I put a few pounds on because I've had a good weekend or a holiday or something like that, then I'll just work a bit harder for a couple of weeks to get it back off again, and then I will maintain. That is my plan. There we go. I have said it to the world. I have to do it now. So yeah. So speaking of holidays, I have got 1 week left and then I'm going on holiday, which actually, the whole thing about still waiting for the results, I've now just got to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm not even bothered when they come, because nothing's going to happen until the week commencing the 16th of May, which is like when I get back anyway. So as long as they're here and everything's sorted by then that's absolutely fine. I'm just concentrating on my holiday now. However, saying that, it's still the weight, isn't it? And I'm at that mindset now where, right, okay, let's just focus on the holiday. But I suppose if I was really honest and sort of like looked at what's going on in my head for the past week or so, well, even since the surgery, so like nearly 5.5 weeks ago since the surgery, and again, it's that waiting thing, and it's amazing. Waiting does do silly things to your head. It really does do. Well, it's too much time to think about stuff, pretty not, and it's that not knowing, and I think more so for me, not being able to plan things. I'm a planner. I feel if I'm able to plan things, I feel like I've got a bit of control over it, and not being able to plan takes away that control, I suppose, which in some instances, like handing over control is quite a good thing, but I like to, I don't know, it's really difficult to explain. When it comes to something like this, when there's something that I can possibly do about it, then I need that plan, I need that control. If it's something that is completely out of my hands, then I'm much more, it's much easier for me to hand it over, hand that sort of like that worry and everything, well, not even hand it over, but just push it away. But it's like the planning about work, planning about, I've got a holiday booked with the family in August. Now, at the moment, there's no reason to say that that's not going to go ahead. But if these results come back and say that I have to have chemo, then that's out of the window. So that whole thing will need changing. Yeah, it's just, I like to plan. I like to plan, and not knowing really sort of like puts a spanner in the works when it comes to planning. And then there's also the other things as well. So, of course, I've been looking into it, as you do, which I am quite good in the sense that I don't get overwhelmed by looking into it. I don't get drawn into all the sort of like the worst case scenarios and things like that if I don't know the full story, which at the moment I don't know the full story. But what I do know is I was told a microscopic cell, that seems to be, when I have a little look, the actual sort of like term for that is isolated cancer cell. I need that confirming, but that seems to be sort of the best description of what it is. And with these isolated cancer cells, they're very, very tiny, and they're not classed as your cancer spread. But it sort of has, in my head, it's gone from where my tumour was into that lymph node. And I suppose my concern is that they're going to turn around and say, we're quite confident that that was the only one in that only lymph node we took out, and you don't need anything else in regards to that. Because my head is going to be like, but how do you know that? How do you know that there wasn't another one? It didn't have a mate, and that mate went into my next lymph node. Now, when I get the oncologist appointment, I'm going to bring all this up, and hopefully they will be able to talk me through it and explain to me exactly why that isn't likely to be the case. Because it's understanding for me. If I understand it, I'm not questioning what the doctors are saying, but I need to understand. Otherwise, it's that constant little voice going in your head, what if, what if, what if? And I don't allow myself to get overwhelmed by it, but it's still there. And I think it's still going to be there for anyone who's ever experienced cancer. There's always going to be the what ifs, the slight little twinge of something, what if? I think that's always going to be there. I think that's inevitable, and that's something that I'm just going to have to prepare myself for. Well, not just prepare myself for, like deal with it now as well, because of course it is still happening now. So there's that side of things. And then there's the thing of, if that microscopic cell could have got from where my tumour was, which, as you all know, was quite central, right over to the other side where my armpit is, then what about all these lymph nodes that are here? Surely it would have gone into those because they're closer. But they don't get checked because they can't just readily take one out and test it. So that is, of course, going on in my head. Now, I think the routine, the plan is to give me radiotherapy sort of like in that area, so that it would blast all those lymph nodes as well. But again, that's something I really need to discuss, because that's a constant going on in my head. And also, it sounds weird, because how you would want treatment that is not particularly nice, but because they found that microscopic cell in my armpit, I would want treatment in my armpit. I want radiotherapy in my armpit, just to give it a blast as well, just in case. again, this is sort of like how like your brain sort of like goes off on a tangent. And if I can have everything explained to me, then about reasons why possibly they're not going to do it. I don't know if they're going to do it or not, but if they're not going to do it, then I'll be fine. But I'm definitely going to bring it up. And then the other thing that I still can't shake, and I think I'm going to have to sort of like demand one, that's a really strong word, but speak to the doctors about an MRI, because I've still got that instance of how I found the tumour, and it's sort of like being said to me, like, it's very unlikely that you're going to have another one like that somewhere else that you can't feel. But it's very unlikely that I should have found that in the first place. So there's that chance. And of course, if that's that chance, then it's there playing on my brain. So I'm lucky I have got private healthcare as well, which I haven't had to use yet. But I totally get that the NHS is bound by policy. The NHS is bound by different areas about practice, about lots and lots of things. I work in the NHS. I know what it's like, the costings and everything like that. And I'm not saying that individual treatment will sort of like be, oh, I'm not going to spend money on her, that type of thing. But it's all those things together. And I totally get that. So if they can't do it or are reluctant to do an MRI on the NHS, I have got that option. And I think I'm going to say to them, can I please sort of like have a referral or speak to my insurance people and see if I can just get it done there. I mean, again, the implications of it are, chances are it's going to show something up, because MRIs pick everything, well, I say everything, pick a lot of things up, and a lot of those things are nothing to do with anything. They're absolutely fine. But if it shows up, they then need further investigation, which is, again, one of the implications of doing it on the NHS is 9 times out of 10, an MRI will show nothing that is a cause for concern, but they will still have to investigate it. And that then adds money. And I mean, I get it. It's thousands of pounds on treatment that's not necessarily needed. And you shouldn't monetize things, but it's a fact of life. Of course it is. And it isn't an endless pot. If I take that treatment, then is that taking it out of a different pot? It's all these things. As you can see, there's a lot going on in my head. There's always a lot going on in my head. But I thought I would just voice it and just get it out there. Like I say, I'm not particularly like staying up at night worrying about it or anything like that. And now I'm at that sort of like, right, holiday next week. I'm just going to focus on that. I've got a lot to do before I can go on that holiday. So I'm going to focus on that. And then we will restart again when we get back. So I'm not wasting precious time and effort and energy like worrying about everything. It is just those little thoughts that come into your head, and if anything, it's quite a good thing, because now I'm quite set in my mind that I am going to sort of like go down the route of getting the MRI and asking these questions and everything else. So it's not a bad thing. It's clarified a few things for me, and it's made me a bit more sort of like, right, this is the direction I want to go in. These are the answers I want answering, and etc, etc. So not all bad, but hopefully before I go on holiday next Friday, on the 6th, I will be back on and I will tell you that I've got the results. I hopefully will also have an appointment booked in for seeing the oncologist, but if I haven't, then so be it. But I will try and get back on before I go away, and then, yeah, we will go from there. But for now, I am going to go because it's nearly 15 minutes. I will see you all later. I hope you're enjoying whatever the weather is, wherever you are, whatever time of year it is. But for now, I'm going, mwah, see you all later. Bye.